Okay, today we are finishing up my brand new Harbor Freight sandblasting cabinet. Now, I probably should have showed y'all. I started to do a video on assembly, but that was terrible. This thing took like 6 hours plus to assemble. So yeah, that would have kind of sucked. So instead, I want to show y'all some upgrades I'm doing to it. Like first off, the light, which, all right, hold on. First off, the light that came with it is an old style, a fluorescent, and it is absolutely terrible. So I think they told me this thing had been in there. I got a discount because the box was damaged, because it's been in there, I'm going to think, maybe since the store opened in Greenville. But anyway, so everything's all assembled now, and let me show you my new light. So what that is a little, let's see here, and there you can kind of see it. It's just a little LED that I picked up at Ollie's for like $9, but that is 10 times better than the original light that it came with. I drilled 2 new holes and mounted it. I did have to put this bolt in upside down because it was in the way of the plug turned the other way, but it's a short screw, so it's not really going to hurt anything. So that puts it directly above your work area, whereas the old one was back here in the corner, and apparently it was burning out as soon as I turned it on, because I couldn't even hardly tell it was on, and then it just quit working altogether. So there's that upgrade. Okay, so here is upgrade number 2. Now, when I bought this thing, I was like, how does it filter the debris out from the sand so that, you know, all your rust, paint chips, and stuff that you're taking off doesn't end up in the sand? Well, the answer is it doesn't. You have this grate that is not great because it lets all those particles fall down. So as you can see, I get my fingers through there. So I went to Lowe's and got me some screen wire. And oh, by the way, my light was $15, not $9. The screen wire is what was $9. But anyway, so I got this screen, and I'm going to fit it to my grate. This way, the sand, now I'm hoping this works properly, the sand should filter through the screen. No problem. The larger particles, such as paint chips and rust chips, will get caught and not go down into my sand. And then that way, whenever it builds up a bunch of junk in there, then I can just take my shop vac, clean that out, and go on. So I've already started here, kind of bending this to go on the back side here. But I've been trying to figure out what I want to do to hold it on there. I thought about zip ties, and I found this little red tie-ish thing. So because it's, as you can see, like immediately trying to fall back off. So we're going to bring it this way enough to where when that end goes down, we're going to fold it under about like the other, creating the corner. And then we're going to do this side similarly, but first you got to get this edge on here. And once I get it in there, this another frame will pretty much hold it in place, but getting this to stay put long enough to get it in there is the issue. Put that right there for now. Because, like I said, it keeps trying to fly off here. Now, and there went my screen in the floor, that's fine. So we're going to weight that with that their dent puller. Now, I have this little wire, and I think what I'm going to do is take a little section here. And I could take this and wrap it all the way around the whole thing, but like I said, it'll pretty much hold itself in once I get it in place. So this is small enough to actually poke through the screen. So we'll take it. Let's see. Well, I don't guess there's a top and a bottom to this particularly, so we'll take this and then release it back. Oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself, kind of. So what I need to do is trim this off and leave me enough to fold under that'll catch over here. I know how to do this where it won't even show it all, and it'll be, okay, so here we go. We're going to cut this, like so. And now we're going to cut it across here, about like so. And you want to be careful here because this can kind of cut you. Because this is metal string wire, aluminum to be exact. So you don't want your fingers running along that edge as you're cutting. Okay. Now, take our excess wire, roll back up, toss that to the side. Now, I've already bent that, but it may have been a better idea to bend it the other way where this keeps trying to curl up. Let's try something a little different here. We'll bring this over here. And we're going to bend this back that way. And this time I'm letting the screen lap slightly, which I don't really want it to lap over because that may cause a collection problem. So I didn't really have in mind how I was going to do this. As usual, I'm just making it up as I go. Okay. Had it on a nice clean flat table would probably make things easier. Should have took it to the upholstery shop and done this. But we'll make it work. Okay, so I want to even the ends up about right. And then, like I said, I don't really want a lot overlapping. However, I do need it to stay in place, so now we'll take our little wire here and threading through here. Take one of these wires there, hold it back, take it like so, and ta-da. Alright, just got that in place, and now I have some side cutters. Yeah, okay. So I'll just cut that off like that. It ain't gonna take much to hold it. I'm gonna take this end, hold it snug, and do the whole same thing back here. Hook it through, bend it into a U. And we're going to hook it into that wire. And hook it back through. Let's do the first one. And twist. And there's that. This is the only piece of this I found handy, so that's why I'm making little short pieces. Now, honestly, what I need to do now is focus on the corners. If I do all 4 corners, the rest of it should be alright. This time I'm going to go through like several layers, so that's going to be a little tricky. Lace through there. Bending back. Y'all probably can't see what the heck I'm doing from over there, can you? It just occurred to me. Like, you know, you're across the room going, what the heck is he doing? I can't see anything. So I'll bring you in closer as soon as I get this one done. So maybe you can see what I'm doing on the next one. Okay. Bring y'all in close here so you can see. And we got our tie here. And which way do I lap this? I lap it this way. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but we're going to keep it consistent, lap them both the same. So we'll fold this over here, and then we're going to fold this back like so. And that gives us kind of a finished corner. Ow! Just got stabbed on one of those wires. Probably would be a good idea to have gloves on for this. Alright, and now I have lost my wire. Oh, there it is. So now we got to work our wire through the screen, lacing it through there. And see, this makes up like 3 layers that you got to go through right there. Alright, and once it's through there, reach your finger in and lace it under one of the big wires, and then bring it back up. I would find one that's the pick and not the hook. Take our little hook here. See if this makes life easier. Catch it, bring it back up. Like so. And then we want to poke that end, ow, that wire into your thumb. No, we want to poke the other wire back up through here. And here. Now, we got enough to twist them just a little bit. Like I say, I'm using these very short because I just randomly found this little piece of wire and was like, hey, this will work better than zip ties. So, yeah. So we got that twisted. Now we cut this. And then we'll do this corner, which I've already folded. Ow! A piece of that wire stuck in my shirt. Alright, and there again, I just had that piece of wire and laid it down. Oh, there it is. Now this time, I think I'm just going to go, because this is not going through. Let's try and catch. Ow. Ow. Try and catch all of them here. Run through that one. They go through easier if you go one at a time. Nope, don't want to go through the top layer. Just want to go through the bottom. And back up through one layer here. So this is kind of like a bread tie. It came on a tool or part or something like that. So it's just a thin plastic coated wire or vinyl coated, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna do my last corner, and I'm probably not gonna have any left to do these sides very much. Maybe I can get one in that side. So let's see. Now see, this one I did the opposite of the other end, so I'm going to do both corners the same on this end. So I'm going to take and fold that up good. See, after we get this pinched, it kind of holds its shape. And then we want to fold it back here. Form our corner here. Now, as I just said, and I think I was telling myself as much as y'all, one layer at a time seems to work better. And let's move it over a little bit though. I want to catch that wire. No, wait, there's a wire right there. We'll catch that one. Reaching underneath and bending my little wire back up. Seemed to work better than trying to catch it with that little pick or whatever. Alright. Got that one. Now we're just going to take and go along these edges and pinch this to make it bend down there where it'll kind of stay put. Now, ideally, if I had some more of that wire, I'd go along and put some on these ends, but I don't have any more of it. And I think it'll be fine once I get it in the cabinet. So, let me resituate. Now comes the fun part. Well, actually, I may be a little ahead of myself. Well, no. We're going to proceed with putting this in first. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Now that looks more like what I want. Now I do have to figure out where I want to put the pickup tube, which I have now misplaced. That it's just basically a piece of pipe that will go in here, and we'll have to go down through there somewhere. So I'm going to base where I put that on how much travel I can get. Thinking somewhere along there. There. Don't want to get it in the way of my glove, so let's move it back this way a little more. And also, where I can let it kind of rest on one of those bars, maybe. No, not really. Alright. So I think we're going to put it right there. And let it angle itself. Yeah. So, in order for doing that, I got to find the little tube, make a hole, and actually clamp it. Okay, so we decided our location is going to be right here. So we're going to take our scissors and cut an X in this to allow for the pipe to come through. Okay, so now we have to situate our pipe. Let's move the scissors and drop our gun outside the cabinet for now, and situate our pipe so I'm going to let that hang on a bolt down there so that I can actually put this on there. But I got to grab one of the clamps. Okay, so we want to situate it like where when you're using this has to be where it's not going to kink mostly. So we're going to slide our clamp on here. Slide this on the hose, or the pipe, all the way down, so that'll help to hold it. Now, tighten the clamp up. I mean, as far as I can tell, the thing's supposed to just kind of lay in the sand, so kind of like me at the beach. Yeah. Not a big beach goer, but yeah. Alright, now let's see if we can unhang it off of that bolt. Where he sits down in there, something like so. Okay, now, the only thing left to do is figure out the best way to put the sand in there. And I guess Since how I've got this, I'm going to have to, once again, move my gun out to the side. And I think we need to just take and prop this up some way with something. Need a hood prop. Okay, I have this handy dandy homemade hatchet. Put it over there out of the way. Alright, perfect. Now, our sand is just play sand from Lowe's, so nothing special. It actually says multi-purpose, but officially called play sand. And it's cheap, it's like $10. And it's heavy. This is supposed to be 50 pounds of sand, and this thing's supposed to hold 40 pounds, so we're not going to put it all in there, obviously. Hopefully this isn't too coarse. It looks a little coarse. Okay. That's 40 pounds or so. Yeah, that looks a little on the coarse side. Now I'm trying to fix my input tube a little more towards the center of the sand. Let's get this off of the sides here. Of course, it's going to get everywhere in there, so you know. I'm used to being real particular with that. Oh, okay. Now we got to work the pipe down in the sand until this sits down flat. Alright, now put this back in here, and our first test subject will be a Datsun wheel, which I will get in the cabinet and hooked up, ready to go before, and then I'll show you all that. So. Alright, time to try this sucker out. So this is a 620 wheel that I'm going to clean up for the rat rod. I got new tires that are a little smaller, and the old tires are still good, so I just, you know, figured I got extra wheels. And yeah, normally I would wire wheel these, but like, well, this is a good test subject here. Our sand is not wanting to feed very consistently for some reason. Not sure what's going on with that. There we go. Well, I may have to figure out why my sand is not feeding correctly, but so I have made a clean spot. There's some pretty good pits on this wheel, so I don't know. I hope I'm not wasting my time trying to clean these up. I do know that they didn't hold air, is how come the tires got taken off of them, because somebody had took and painted them, which I need to paint them black for my application, but yeah, somebody painted them gray. But oh, let me try on the painted surface a little bit here and see how well it removes the paint out of these crevices. Oh yeah. Yeah, when the sand's feeding, it does good. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 layers of paint there, so cleaning the bead might be easier with the wire wheel, quicker. But doing this seems to be the way to remove that paint and stuff on this part in here. It seems to be feeding better now. Alright, well, this is going to take a while, but I hope y'all can see what I'm doing here. But yeah, the light definitely. The old light was absolutely terrible. You couldn't see nothing. So the light is definitely working well. The screen wire is working well. It's actually catching some of the sand, which is a little, like I said, some of the sand's a little coarse. But I also see chunks of rust laying down there on the screen. So the screen is working as the finer sand's going back through. So I'm going to say that my upgrades are going to work well. The only downfall right now is it's probably about 90 degrees and my hand stuck in these gloves is a little warm. So, you know, and this is going to take a while, so I'm not going to bore y'all with that. But so this is trying it out, and I'm happy with it. Other than this may be the wrong sand, which that tube is plenty big enough. I don't know. Maybe the sand got damp. I did have it sitting in the floor. It's kind of like it's trying to clump or something. It's getting better though as I use it. So okay, today I'm trying to use the sand blaster, and it's been a while since I've done my initial videos, but it's hard enough to see in this thing, but then when you start blasting, it starts clouding up real fast and you can't see nothing. Let me show you what I got in there. So I have this car seat that I managed to fit in there amazingly. It's just the seat bottom. And I'm trying to clean the springs because they are very, very rusty. That's after I done hit it some. These are the better ones. The other one I'm having to actually replace the wire. But anyway, what I'm trying to do is make this thing to where it will get the sand out of there. So the dust. There's an outlet right back there. And then behind this piece of metal, there is an inlet. Well, which way is supposed to be which, but this is going to be my inlet, and that's going to be my outlet. And so what I'm going to do is put a little blower back there and a piece of pipe running out the wall, which I'm already situated perfect for, to create a ventilation system that will keep it cleared out to where hopefully I can see what I'm doing. Now this is going to be my blower motor. Now what this is a bathroom heater that mounted on the wall or in the wall or something anyway. So these are heat coils. These are disconnected because I have used this as a blower to set on top of the wood stove, so I didn't need the heat coils. So I'm going to take the heat coils off and probably just cut this off flat. Then I can just bolt it right onto the side where that big hole is, and voila, blower motor. Should work fine. May have to put some kind of rubber under it for a seal, but well, actually, there's that rubber ring. So, anyways, that's what I'm fixing to do. Got to find some tools. All right, well, we're gonna try to take this apart with just a screwdriver. All right, that one's coming loose. Those that have been jammed on there very hard, I probably couldn't have done that. I did have some vice grips on standby in case, but looks like I don't need them. Alright. So this was a functional heater, but it's not big enough to do anything out here in the shop. But I think it'll be big enough to do this little job I've got for it now. Because you got a very confined space, so we just need to force air through it. And I think this will do the job. Alright, so we got that one loose. I'm going to take our coils loose. And, oh, well that one's already loose. Okay. And then take these things out. These are the insulators. Now I will say that that's a stainless steel coil. Otherwise it would be rusted all to nothing already. Perhaps it'll come in handy for another project, you know, whatever. In fact, if I just bent these out, I wouldn't have to cut them off, and then I could technically put it back to its original use as a heater if this doesn't work out. Not to mention that would be quicker and easier. So to do that, I'll just put it in the vise and unbend these two 90s, and it should go right in there. Or should I just cut it? What do y'all think? Oh, wait a minute. I'm overlooking something here. Yeah. We have a doohickey there that needs to be kept. So what I need to do there, is relocate that. How am I going to do that? No, I'll come back when I got a plan. Okay. All right, so we found a piece of exhaust pipe, flex pipe, that will fit in here. It's a little loose. I can wrap it in black tape if nothing else. And then we got a hole saw that's big enough for this to go through to let this go outside. So we just got to saw a hole in the wall. Oh yeah, and that's going to be easier said than done. That was wonderful.
You gotta let that drill.
I'm trying. There we go. There we go. Now, we'll just shove the cabinet back against the wall in its spot. Like so. And then I'll have to secure it, but that's actually going to be pretty tight right there. Matter of fact, if I shove it in from the inside, it might stay put. One end swelled a little bit where it was, I think this is a used piece. And the flex pipe will come in handy because it's not perfectly lined up, so. There we go, just like that. I'll go on the outside and put some kind of insulation around it to keep the air from going out, but that ought to work. Now all we got to do is get our blower piece fixed, and I think I have a solution figured out for it. Okay, so a plan has been devised now. I was asking my dad, and I was telling him about my idea of cutting this and bending it up this way, but then it's going to hit here. So he said cut it here and here and bend it up this way. So in order to get my cuts, I'm going to have to actually take this loose so that I don't damage my parts here. All right, so here we go. Precision, we're going to just cut down each side. Now we're just going to cut down this side because, you know, we just need to get those edges off. Okay, this will be better if the PC quits moving. Oh, dang it, man. Ah, crap. That was the extra insulator that I don't have to have. Alright. So now it sits flat. But the problem is there's no mounting flange on this back side, which it doesn't necessarily have to have, but there's also going to be none right here because this is going to now bend up here out of the way. So now we need a piece of metal, something similar. Matter of fact, well, we could use that, but I wanted to make the flange come on out here. But as long as it makes it solid where it'll seal around that circle, would work. But might as well make it the way I want it to be. So, alright. There. Alright. There. Alright. There. Now, this is construction paper. I guess I told y'all that. And this is not necessarily the correct way to do this. Big surprise, right? Here, hold on. Let me see what y'all see real quick. Y'all see me a little better. If you wanted to. Anyway, alright, so yeah, we want this to go on up, like so, and that gives us I don't even need to go that about 1 inch. So that's previous. This is a scrap of a floor pan template, so that's why it's got writing already on it. So now that'll give me the shape that I want, and then we can just weld it here, here, and here, and perhaps across here, and that will reinforce it, give us a full flange mounting plate, and still have our 2 little screws right there for the insulators. Alright, so now I just got to find a piece of metal to cut this out of. Used this on a previous video on the brown truck. We already have a kind of a straight edge there. That'll be fine. It don't have to be perfect. Now I just need to get my marker, mark that out, cut that out, boom, bang, bip, flippity flip, whatever. Okay, we're going to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible here. So, sacrificing accuracy, which is perfectly fine for something that doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it works. So, if you ever get a burn barrel and you cut your lid out, makes good sheet metal pieces. Now, I could do this with the cutoff wheel or the plasma cutter. I've already got the plasma cutter out of here, so we're going to scare the cats. Yeah, that's what that is. Alright, a straight edge would be nice. Crap. I should have found that before I tried to get started. Right. Alright, so this fits like this right here. That's not even. Oh well. Don't have to be perfect. Ouch. Perhaps sitting right beside where I'm welding is not the brightest idea. Now that's probably some of the ugliest welds you're ever going to see, but it don't matter. Don't care. With sheet metal, you got to just spot weld everything, then go back and grind it. Or burn holes and then fill them in, you know, whichever. Well, knock my ground off. Don't weld the truck. Ah, damn it. I just burned a big hole in that. Yeah, that's not even going to be worth trying to fuck with. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is put this like so, because it's going to be blowing down anyways, which up, down, either one, it don't matter. I could put it like this, but I'm going to put it like this so that the plug for the power source is going closer to the wall. Alright, now what I want to do here is center this thing up to the hole as much as possible. Now there is a rubber gasket back there. Now I also don't want it sticking up above here. So that's about as centered and in place as we're going to get. Now here comes the tricky part. These are self-drilling screws. So there we go. Once I get one more in, it'll hold itself in place at least. Nice. They get a bite in that cabinet metal. All right. 4 screws, I think that'll hold it. Now before, this would just like cloud out and I couldn't see nothing. So let's see how it goes now. Oh yeah, y'all probably can't see much, but, and I can't see great, but I can see way more than I could. But now, if I stop, Then see how it clears up pretty quickly. I need to clean my glass and put a new screen protector on the inside, but that's going to require more time than I want to commit right now. But this is working very well, so very happy with that. Let me show y'all one other thing. I know I showed y'all part of it, but let's see. Here will tell the tale. If I open the door, are we still got a cloud of dust? Or do we have, look at there, it's already cleared out. So now, as you can see, that's going to take some time, but that's cleaning that up. And I got a ruler under there, a square. But we got our screen down here that catches the big particles and lets the little particles go through. And so every so often I'll take and vacuum out whatever won't go through. But you know, before we had this big mesh that allowed all the rust and junk to go through. See, I even have some granules there. I used the wrong sand. I used play sand from Lowe's. I shouldn't have done that, but anyway, hold on a second. So anyway, we got a lot more cleaning to do, or I do anyway, on these seats, but I'm glad that that actually worked, because it was not working before, and I haven't used this sandblaster a whole lot because of it. I was trying to use the vacuum cleaner to suck the dust out. That did not work very well at all. Of course, my vacuum cleaner is a piece of junk. Probably need to get me a new one. But anyway, so that'll do it for the sandblaster. Later.